Hi, Michelle. Long time. Oh, wow. You are so big. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. High school. Oh, I didn't hear you. I don't know if something's wrong with your connection, but I didn't hear you. Oh, I still didn't hear you. Hi, Michelle. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Okay, I can see you nodding. Good. But I can't hear you though. I don't know. Maybe you're
I can
mute.
hear you.
Oh, good, good, good. How you doing? How's school?
School's well.
Good, good, good. Are you back in school now? Are you working? Are you schooling from home?
I'm schooling from home.
You're schooling from home. What about Abigail? Is she schooling from home too?
Yeah, same.
Oh no. How is it? How is it for you guys?
It's good. Sometimes it gets a lot, sometimes it's little, but it's pretty good overall.
Okay, okay, good. That's good. What grade are you in now?
I have to write like essay. I have to write an essay.
Okay. So what about, are you in grade school? Are you in high school now?
Um, I'm I'm in I'm in sixth grade, but next year I'll be going to seventh grade, which is middle school in New Jersey.
That's awesome. Wow, that's cool. How's your jewelry business going?
It's kind of at a standstill right now, but I still have a lot.
Is it because of the pandemic?
Yeah, I haven't really found a way to sell it.
Okay, okay. Have you tried like online?
No, I actually haven't tried that yet.
Okay. Yeah, that could be something if you, of course, with your parents' permission, you could try. So maybe you could try putting it on like Pinterest and
Oh
seeing
yeah.
if you get like if you get like because if you get likes, it means that people actually might be willing to buy it. That could be something, and again, it won't cost you anything to put it on Pinterest. So you just put it there just to see if people get like like it, and then that will give you an idea if you want to now find the platform to sell it on. So that could be something. Well, it's good to have you on. I'm just gonna give about like 2 more minutes for see if somebody else joins, and I'm expecting more people to join. So I'll give like 2 minutes and then I'll get started. But thank you for
Okay.
joining. Let me grab some water to drink. Be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. So are you doing anything fun this weekend?
Not really. Just lounge around. enjoy the weekend definitely because it's going to be essay writing for next week and all
Uh,
the planning.
okay. What essay? What's your topic that you're writing?
We have to write a 5-paragraph argumentative essay, and my topic is on should there be a legal age on social media apps.
Ah, so what do you think the legal age should be?
Since the UK actually did adopt a similar rule to us, but their age limit is higher. Ours is 13, but there's a 16. So I should feel like it should be 16.
Mm, it should be. You think it should be higher?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Why is that?
Mainly for safety and plus do you really need social media at 13, really? Just I mean, there's face to face, there's many other ways to like talk and interact with your friends. Because I don't really use social media at all.
Oh, really? Wow, that's smart.
So I realize that like once you don't have something, you realize how much you don't need it.
You're right. Actually, right. That's smart though. That's a good. I think I like that argument. And you could also look at some of the studies that have been done on the impact too much social media. Why it's not
Mhm.
like when it's too much, it's not very good. So, but good point. Okay, so let me get started, Michelle. So hopefully other people will join
Okay.
us. I also want to be able to get through my points as quickly as possible. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Okay, good. So this is interactive. So feel free to ask questions as I go along, and I'm going to be asking questions. And of course, I have some gifts and prizes to give to people that answer my questions. You could either answer the questions verbally or put the answers in the chat. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So today I'm going to be talking of personalities and understanding human behavior, how you can understand basics of how people behave, how you behave, and how you can maximize it in life. So this, excuse me, this is, let me drink some water. So this is the second of the training that we did. We did one last month where we talked about knowing yourself, who you are, knowing your identity. And when we did that training, these were the key things that we talked about. We talked about God made you wonderful and unique, and to be confident in yourself because of who God made you to be, and that you are young, you're original, you are unique, and you are you. So be you and don't try to be somebody else. We also talked about how words can affect your brains and your molecules and things like that. So use words well. So that's what we talked about the last time. So today we're going to talk about personalities, like I said. So uh, everybody behaves, I know we know this, everybody behaves in a particular way. Some people call it a personality, some people call it temperament, is pretty much the same thing. So can you tell me who first, and this is a very, I don't know if you even if you know, but can you tell me who first came up with the concept of personality? This person is described as the father of medicine, and doctors take an oath that is attributed to his name. So can anyone tell me? Pastor Inge, I see you joined. Thank you for joining. Can anyone first tell me who came up with the concept of temperament? Or no? Okay. Well, his name is Hippocrates. That's his name. And so doctors take what's called the Hippocratic Oath when they you know when they want to practice. So he first came up with this whole concept of temperament and everything. He came up with four of them. The four are called choleric, sanguine, melancholic, phlegmatic. But then in 1928, someone called William Madsen now assigned four letters, so DISC, to this temperament. And so that's what we're going to be discussing today. But I put this here so we all know that this is not a new thing. This has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Okay. So this is a table that shows the four types of personalities and their letters. So the first one is choleric. So in general, I'm just going to give a general description. So in general, choleric people or D people tend to be very active people in terms of their energy levels are very high, very active. And they tend to be task oriented. They like to do things. They're very, very doing oriented. And so for me, I call these people the diamond people. And in a few minutes, I'm going to explain to you why I said I call them the diamond people. It's no good or bad thing. Then the next people are called the sanguine people. These are I people. These people are also very active. They have high energy as well, but they are more of people oriented. They like people. They like hanging around people. And I call them the ideas people, very ideas people. The next people are called the phlegmatic people. These are the S people. These, in terms of energy level, these people have to what you call passive energy. It's not that they don't have energy, it's just that when you're interacting with them, they are not as high energy and all they tend to be more reserved in how they interact with people. And but they are very people oriented. They like people. They like being around people and they like people, anything that has to do with people. And I call them sugar. That's what I'm calling them. And then the last set of people are melancholy people or C people. These are also passive people, but they are very task oriented. They also like to do things. And I call them cats. Just for now, bear with me. I'm going to explain to you why all of these in a few minutes. Okay, so now let's look at the D people in general. In general, Ds tend to be very dominant. So just going to their basic characteristics, they tend to be domineering. They tend to be very direct. So they don't know they don't sugarcoat anything. They just tell you how it is. That's it. That's who they are. They tend to be very determined. Once they put their mind on something, they go for it. And once they put their mind on something, it's very hard to convince them not to do that thing. They're very demanding. They want you to do it, and they want you to do it how they want you to do it and when they want you to do it. They are doers, like I said. They do. I mean, they can go for like 4 a.m. in the morning to 10 at night. Very strong doers. Their basic motivation or what motivates them is that they like challenge. So if you give a D person something that is easy for them, they almost find it very boring because it's very easy. So they like things that are hard because that's just that's how God made them. So their environmental needs are that they like freedom. They don't like people to tell them what to do. They like to be free to do as they want. They like to be in authority. They like to tell people what to do. They like different types of activities. So they can work on different things at one time. You could give them 5 things and they'll be able to. That's how they are. That's how God made them. Like I said, they like difficult things and they like to advance. They're the kind of people in your school or in your career, like when whether you're working or you're in a school environment, they're the people who are going to be like, wanting to get the A's, and in the company they want to go for all the positions. That's just who they are. When it comes to responding to people, they like people to give them direct answers. So they don't like people who go around in the bush. Like if they ask you a question, D people, they want you to either is a yes or a no. They don't go around in circles. They don't like it. They feel like you're wasting their time. They like people that stick to business. So for example, let's say in this training, if you're a D person, if I start to talk about like the weather and things like, they almost find it boring. They want you to get straight to the point, like just go straight into the training. Don't start talking about yourself. That's how they're very direct. They like people who give goals and give them something to aspire, something that they can aspire to or want to achieve. That's just who they are. They like people to put pressure on them because they have a lot of high energy. If you put pressure on them, like if you say, look, this thing I'm telling you to do is due today, they like it, they can handle it, they don't mind. That's how they are. Again, they like freedom. They don't like people telling them what they want, to be able to do what they do when they want, however they want it. That's just in general. Okay. Now they need to learn, these people need to learn that people are important. They also need to learn how to relax. So like I said, they're very high energy, so they can go for hours and hours. They need to learn how to relax. They also need to learn how to control things a bit. That is not to be out there all the time. It's not good to be out there. They need to learn some type of control. They also need to learn that everybody needs a boss. So they can't always be the boss all the time. Sometimes they need to have a boss over them. So they need to learn that type of thing. They also need to learn how to understand other people better. Okay. So any questions so far? And let me know if I'm going too fast. Any questions so far? Okay. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, so the next set of people are what you call the I people. These people tend to be, their characteristics, they're very inspiring. So I people tend to be very charismatic, what you call charismatic. They know how to sweet talk with their words. They're very good with words, and they can literally, when they finish talking, you'll be like, let's go, because they know how to get people, let's do it, and things like. They're very good leaders. I people are very good leaders. They can influence, they are very people, they like people, they like being around people. They can be very impressive because they have lots of big ideas and great ideas, and they can be very inducing. They can actually try to get people to get things done. Their basic motivation, I people like you to recognize them. So they like you to say, hey, good job, you did a great job that time, and things like that. They like that type of thing. I people need prestige, so they need you to recognize them. They need friendly relationship. They like to be with friends and good, that's what they like. They like to influence people, like I say. They like to inspire people, and they like to verbalize their ideas. They like to talk. So they respond best to people who are friendly. They like people who are friendly. They like to, if it's a work environment, they like to be in a group, in a social gathering. They like that type of thing. They like I said, recognition. So they want you to recognize them. They want you to appreciate them. And they like to take risks. And they want you to appreciate that about them, that they like to take risks and things like that. I people need to learn how to manage their time, because they tend to, because they are very, because the I person thinks big, so they think very big. They have lots of ideas. They have to learn how to manage their time. They are not good with time management, so that's one of the things they have to learn how to do. They also have to learn not to be too optimistic all the time. They need to learn how to be detailed. They need to learn, because they're not very detailed at all. They don't like a lot of information, and they need to learn humility. The person who is an I person can come out to other people as very prideful, because they talk a lot about themselves. So they need to learn humility. Okay, so then let's move to the next people. The next people are the S people. The S people tend to be very stable. Hey, David, I see you are there. Thanks for joining. So they tend to be stable. They tend to be very steady. They are very pretty much same old, same old. They are very security conscious, and they're very sensitive. So S people are those type of people. They don't like change. They like the same old, something that is familiar. That's what they like. And they are but they love people. They like to be around people. They are very sensitive. They are the type of people, they think about people a lot. So that's your S people. So of course they need security. They need areas of specialization. So S people like to do the same thing over and over again. That's what they like. They like to be with a group of people. They like to be with groups of people. They like something that is like established. In other words, it's easy to follow. So when you give an S person something to do, you need to tell them, okay, this is how you do this is how you do it. They like that type of thing. They like stability, like I said, and they like consistency. So they don't like change. They want you to be consistent. Don't give too much change. Same old from day to day. That's what they like. So S people tend to respond to people who are relaxed and amiable, because like I said, they have a type of not passive, but passive energy. So they like you to be relaxed and amiable. Sometimes the high energy can be too much for them. They want you to allow time for them to adjust to any change in plan, because they don't like change. So if you want to change something, they want you to give them time to adjust to that change. They also like I said, they want you to be friendly towards them, because they like people. They want you to be friendly towards them. They want you to allow them to walk at their own pace. So don't put them under pressure. They don't like pressure. And they want you to give them support. They want you to be supportive of them. Hi, David. I see you're back. Okay. So as people need to learn to like change, because change is a part of life, right? So as people need to be more willing to change. Also, they need to be willing to understand that it's not all the time they're always going to get friends, and they need to be comfortable with that. They also need to learn that discipline is good. Okay. And then the last group of people are the C people. These people tend to be calculating. So they like to, in the way they think of a lot of information. So when you're talking to them, they are thinking about the information, and they can make decisions, but you have to give them a lot of data. So before they make decisions, they calculate everything. What is this going to cost me, and blah blah blah. That's how they are. They tend to be very conservative, so they don't like taking risks at all. They tend to be very cautious, very careful in what they are doing. They tend to be very competent, so they are very good at anything they want to do. They are very good at doing that thing. And then they tend to be very compliant, so they want to follow the book, go by the rules, by the book. If you give them rules, they want to follow everything, as is stated. So these people like quality. They like things to be perfect. These are your perfect people. Now these people need you to, when you're talking to them, they need you to define everything very carefully. So they need to explain everything to them very carefully. And they need you to give them time. They don't like to be rushed at all. They need you to explain everything to them. They also need to be involved as well. They need very little risk. Like, they don't like to take risks. So they need very, very little risks. And they like precision and planning. So these people respond to people who provide reassurance to them, just letting them know it's going to be okay, and this is actually a good thing that we're trying to do. They want people to be supportive, so people to actually support them in what they are doing. They want people who are open, and they also want a lot of details. Essentially, they need a lot of information. These people need to learn that it's not always possible for you to give them support, and they also need to learn that it's not always possible to give them explanations, and also they need to know that deadlines need to be met. Okay, so I'm going to pause here now and ask any questions so far. Any questions? No? So does this make sense so far? Michelle and David? Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Okay, does it make sense so far?
Yes, it does.
Okay. What about you, David? Okay. I maybe he's not. I don't hear any audio. Okay. Okay. So let me continue. So one thing to keep in mind is that only 15% of people have only one type of personality. Most of us have in us we have a mixture of the type. So either we are like we can have two, we can have three, and even maybe some people can have four of those types. So for example, let me give an example. For me now, I'm a high I, and I'm a high S. I also have some D in me, and I don't really have much of a C. Maybe once in a while I may have, but so you see, most people have a combination. So you're not going to. It's hard to find someone who has just one personality. Most of the time, where I blend, so you might have someone who's like a D and I, or an S and C. So a combination. And also something to keep in mind is that these personalities can also be affected by environmental factors. So when I say environment, it means like with your environments. For example, if you're a student, that can affect your personality because that's a different environment. And then also, if you like, let's say you go to work or something, that environment can also affect your personality. So don't be surprised if you see that as time goes on, you might see some changes. So for example, for me, when I was younger, I had a very high D personality, and I think I've always had an I personality, but my D personality was more dominant, and that was because I was a bit spoiled when I was small. So because I was kind of spoiled, I was very uh, I didn't really care much about other people. So because of that, the way I interacted, I was very direct, and I didn't care. I don't care what you think. I'm telling you what I think, and things like that, and just had a mind of my own. But then as I grew up, the more I grew up, that D personality started resigning, and the I and S side of me started becoming more dominant. And I think with knowledge, I think the S personality became stronger because as sometimes is like I said, is affected by people and knowledge and things like that. So, and the good thing about personalities is this: everybody wins. We all win. There's no good or bad. It's all a win-win situation. So regardless of what your person, are you still there? I don't. I think people are having it.
I just came back. I had to go and I just came back.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
hopefully, I don't know, but I'm fine. Cool.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I don't know if people are having a difficult time joining, but it's okay. Thank you for joining. So essentially, everybody wins. There is no good, there is no bad. We all win in this together. The key thing is to know how to manage both your personality and the personality of other people that you are interacting with. So whether you're a student interacting with your siblings, or your parents, or a parent interacting with your children, or even at your job, it's just good to know these personalities and how to interact successfully with them. So let me just show you. We need all personality. We need everybody. So for example, let's say somebody says, let's go to the moon. We all want to go to the moon. The people that are your I personality will say, oh, that's easy. We're already there. Because again, those people, they live in their minds, they think big and they live in a different world. So as far as they are concerned, everything is easy, very highly optimistic, and they like ideas and all things are possible. So they'll tell you, if you tell them, let's go to the moon, they'll tell you, oh, we're already there, it's easy, that's not a big problem. The people who are very predominantly D will be like, let's just do it now. And they're like, let's go there tomorrow. The people that are S will be like, oh God, is that safe? And then that's their first concern. Oh my God, is that safe? And once you convince them that it's safe, they'll be like, oh, let's take everybody. Let's invite our mothers and our fathers. And, that's there because they love people and they like to involve everybody. They see people be like, well, where's the data? Why should we go to the moon? So you have to literally convince them, giving them information why they should go to the moon, but you have to give them that information. So that's just a little visual of how each personality is. But see, here's the thing. You need all personalities if you want to go to the moon, because you need the people who are optimistic to keep driving the team. Let's do it. It's possible. You need the people who know how to get things done, which is the D people. You need the people who are very security conscious so that they can keep the team focused on, is it safe, making sure the if it's an aircraft or whatever, that they are building something that is safe for everybody. You need those people. Then you need the people who are data driven, who are detailed, who can build all the wires, connect all the wires intricately. Those people are very, very good. You can literally give them very detailed. Those are the people probably who create like our machines and your equipment, because they're very, very, very detailed and they like data. Okay, so in general, and again, this obviously this is just a general thing, but in general, these, when they are processing information or when you are giving them information, these are your high D people. This is how in their mind, and this is how they would think. They'll think if they're trying to go from, like, let's say you're trying to give them the alphabet, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, or they are trying to give you, let me see, I think I see, sorry, everyone, I think I see some comments or so. Let's see. Oh, David, I see your question. Yes. So David, I don't know if your audio is there. If you can unmute yourself, because I didn't see these questions. So, but I'm seeing your question. Yes, you're right. The full acronym is DISC. Yes. Can someone have all these personalities? Yes. Yes. But what you will find is that most of the time one is it's stronger than the other. That's what you'll find when someone has it. So for example, someone might be highly a D or a highly an S, or maybe they might have two of those personalities very, very strong, and then maybe the other one's not as strong. And also it could vary on the environment. So for example, if you're leading people, then obviously your D is going to be very strong, and so on and so forth. So yes, someone can have all four. That is correct. No, I can't hear. No, we can't hear you. I don't know if it's something, but no problem. Okay, so generally, like I was saying, in these giving information, or when you are giving them information, if you take, for example, in the alphabet, A, B, C, D up to Z, people who are high Ds in general, because they are very, very, they are big doers, and they don't have a lot of, they feel like they don't have a lot of time. They always do. They always want very, very information that is not detailed. So what they want is this: you give them A, you give them G, you give them M, and then Z. And same way, when they're giving you information, that's how they're going to give you their information. They're not going to give you A, B, C, D. No, they're just going to give you highlights. They're going to give you A, they're going to give you G, M, and Z. That's it. And they're done. And that's how they want information. So they don't want you to go into detail. And if you go into detail, you lose them. And sometimes if you go into detail, they become impatient with you, because as far as they're concerned, you're just wasting their time. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, whether you have whether you are a student, if you have a D parent, this is how they want you to give them information. And so now you can understand why sometimes this is how it's like this person is rushing. That's just how they are. That's how they are. They give and they receive information. Now, eyes, on the other hand, are similar to these in terms of they don't want a lot of information either. But the difference between eyes and these is that eyes are not in their mind, their information is not organized, it's very disorganized. So an eye, when they are giving or when they are receiving information, they'll go from A, then they go to I, then they go back to C, and then O, and you see the Z is not even at the end, it's somewhere before the end, and then they go to M. That's how, because they have a lot of ideas. And so to sometimes when they're talking, especially to like a D or an S or a C, they might be confusing the person because that's just how they think. And an I person can have like 2, 3 ideas and in one sentence connect all 3 ideas, leaving their audience very confused. And so when you're given an eye information, same thing, they want you to give it very high level. Though if you go into details, you just lose them. They don't want details. They just give them the high level and make it interesting for them because they like interesting things. I see a comment. Let's see. That's interesting. We'll come to that, David. We'll come to that. Okay, so an S, this is how an S will give and receive information. They'll go A, and they'll ask, is everybody with me? Then they'll go B, C, did you all get that? Then they'll go E, Z. So an S will go in order, right? Because remember, they like stability and they like thing, but they'll take it very slow and they want to carry everybody with them. They want to make sure that what they're saying is getting across to everybody because they care about people. And it's the same way when you are giving an essay and information, you have to be slow and you have to make sure that the person you're talking to is understanding because you don't want to lose them. Then a C is very straightforward. Just give the C, A, B, C, D, go in order sequentially. And that's how they give you information. So a C will give you, you can see here, you see all the details. They'll give you all the details. They'll carve everything out for you and go in sequential order because their own focus is that it has to be correct and everything has to be perfect and they want a lot of detail. So when a C is giving you information, they will give you so much information and then they'll go in order so you can understand what they're saying. They'll give you the data. And when you are giving them information, they want the same thing. If you don't give them detailed information, you've lost them essentially. And they won't want to make that decision because as far as you're concerned, you're not giving them the information that they need. So it's something to keep in mind. Again, this is whatever you're doing. For example, if you're a student and you're talking to your parents or your teacher, if you have a C parent, then know that if you want something from them, you have to give them details. If you want, say, for example, you want a pencil or a pen, you have to explain to them, why do you need that pencil? Why do you need that pen? You have to give them details. And it's the same thing, even as a parent, when you're dealing with your children, same thing, you give them, that's how, if you don't give them that detail, you've lost them. They won't feel comfortable moving forward. Okay, so now, so some things to keep in mind for these. And so David, this is to your question. If you have all 4 personal, like I said, even if you think you have all 4 personalities, it's not a bad thing because 1 or 2 would dominate. So there's 1 or 2 that most likely you'll be using like consistently. And the other 2 might come in once in a while, like in a different environment. And it's not a bad thing and it's not difficult as long as you understand these key things. Number 1, D people are doers. They like to do things. So understand that about them and understand that about yourself. If you're a D person, you like to do things. These are the people that say talk is cheap. Like you talk to them, that's cheap. Just go do it things. These are not details. So don't give them a lot of information, because if you do, they think you're wasting their time. A D person is difficult to change their mind. Once a D has made up their minds that they're doing something, it's very, very, very difficult to change their minds. These can be very impatient and they are very controlling. They want to control you. They want to control everybody. They want to boss everybody around. These don't know how to keep the timelines, because remember, they are very task oriented. So they are doing like 5 things at once, right? So they can miss deadlines if you don't tell them when there's something you need them to do. So if you want to get a D to do something, or whether you're a student or a parent, give them just do this, give them the bottom line. So for example, if you're in a work situation and you want to get your boss to do something, give them the bottom line. Just say, hey, listen, if we don't do this thing, this is the bottom line. But the thing is, you have to know the bottom line for that person. So for example, if you're a parent and you have a D child, the bottom line for that child may not be, oh, if you don't do this, I'll spank you. Some children don't care about spanking. So you have to find what the bottom line for that child is. That bottom line could be, maybe they like a very good show and you say, okay, look, if you don't do this, you're not going to watch this show, or whatever it is. If you have a D parent, you say, okay, daddy, mommy, if you don't give me this thing, my teacher is going to kick me out of my class. But you have to find the bottom line. Just give them the bottom line. Don't try to give them a lot of information, because you will lose them. Okay, so things to keep in mind for an I person. An I person, they talk a lot when they're excited. So, and this is something you just, when you see, like me, like I told you, I'm an I, I'm a high I and I'm a high S. When I'm passing, I know you know, when I'm excited, I talk a lot. And when they talk a lot, they can talk a lot in circles, and you can almost be confused because they're so excited. Everything is like, it's like balls in a basket, just hitting in one basket, very excited. They tend to overpromise because they have a lot of ideas. So they are the type of people that sometimes when they are done talking, you'll be like, oh God, this person, because they have a lot of ideas. That's just who they are. They can come across as unserious. Like you might, when they talk, you'll be like, oh, this person is not serious at all. Because again, just how they are, high energy and just lots of ideas. So people are like, this person is like, I can't take what they're saying seriously. They love to inspire people. Eyes just love to, like I said, they're very good inspirational talk. They can literally say, oh, you guys, we can do this. Let's go, you know. Eyes are not detailed, like I said, and they're not good with deadlines, which is why they work well under pressure, because an eye person will procrastinate until the very end. Because keep in mind, they are very high energy, right? And they are very, very, have a lot of ideas and everything. And so what happens is that they literally don't care about the time until it's very late. So, and they don't care that they waited to the last minute. They'll still get it done. So I said I'm a high I person, right? Who can tell me when I created this slide? Who can guess when I created this slide?
One day before, if not today.
Very good. I just did it today.
I have the same mindset.
Right? You what?
I have the same mindset.
You say you have the same what?
I have the same mindset.
You have the same mindset. So yeah, so Michelle, I have to give you a give. Put your email in the chat, because I'm going to be giving. So this is an I person, and so you have to understand that that's how they are. So don't take offense when an I person, you tell them something is due and the day before, 5 minutes or an hour, they still haven't gotten it done. That's just how they are. So if you want to get an I person to do something, tell them that what you're asking them to do will change the world. That's how they are. That's how they think. Let's change the world. So when you want them to do something and tell them, hey, listen, you know, this thing that you're doing was actually going to help people. It's going to change the world. Woo! You've got their support, you know. So, so I see let's see. Oh, thank you. Okay, great. Thanks, Michelle. I got that. Okay, so then things to keep in mind for S people. S people are typically shy and quiet. Again, this is not a bad thing. This is just who they are. S people tend to be very sensitive, and they are very people oriented. They literally care for people. S people, like I said, they don't like change. They like to be appreciated. So for example, if you have an S parent and your parent is, all these things, when they do something good for you, always say, I appreciate it. Or if you have an I child, or whatever the case may be, they like to be appreciated. Even, and the eyes too, they like to be appreciated. So, and when you do that, you can buy and gain support for yourself as well from them, because that's what they like. You're giving them what they like. If you want to get an S to do something, let them know that it's beneficial to people that they care about. So tell them, this thing that I'm asking you to do is very beneficial to, like, your mom, your dad. That's how to get them to get to do what you need them to do. They like that type of thing. Okay. And then things to keep in mind for C people, they are very calculating, like I said. They need data before making decisions. So you have to give them the information. You have to, if you need to, you need to give them documents and say, okay, this is why this is necessary. They need time to make decisions, and so don't rush them and don't put them under pressure. They don't like it. So this is something to keep, like, if you're, like I said, if you're, whether you're a parent or whoever, whatever the situation, don't give them data today and then expect them to make a decision today. No, they consider that you're putting them under pressure. They need time to process that information and give you a decision. And they're very good with deadlines, as long as you give them long deadlines. So don't give them a deadline, say your deadline is tomorrow. No, a week or something, just to give them enough time to process that information and then give you a decision. But they're very, very good at deadlines. They like perfection. They like everything perfect. And if you want a C to do something, show them the data that this will work and that this is beneficial, and they just need information from you. So this is some, okay, any questions so far before I go on? Any comments? Okay. So I put this slide here that just says good day, bad day. A D person, if on a good day, and so in a day where they are very happy and everything is going well, you know how we say, they got up on the right side of bed. A good person, a D person will find an I person. So this is where it comes interesting, where it's in our interactions with one another. I see a chat. Okay, no, David, I see you saying no. I'm not sure what you're saying no about, but okay. I wish you had audio, but okay. A D person on a good day, where they are, like, when they got out of the right side of bed, where everything, they find an I person inspiring and interesting. So they'll find the I person inspiring and interesting. They'll find the S person very sweet. And then they'll find the C person very competent. So this is when they are interacting with people. But on a bad day, and this is where it becomes important for you to know, like, if you're interacting with people, on a bad day, they'll find the I person very irritating. So if you've had comments like that, so maybe in your group, or, oh, okay, in your group, you had a comment, maybe you are a high I person, and you had, that person is very irritating. It's not necessarily you. It's just that for a D person who is about doing things, and then when an I person is talking on a bad day, that irritates them, because they are about doing, they're not about talk. Like I told you, they are the people that probably say talk is cheap. So they might find the I person very, very irritating when they're having a bad day. They will find the S person too easily offended. Those are the people that they'll say, this person gets offended, because to a D person is very direct. So they'll just tell you as is. They won't care about how what they are saying is impacting you. And so to the S person who is very sensitive, many times a D person or an I person will come across as either very disrespectful or very just offensive. And so on a bad day, the D person is like, why is this person always offended? Meanwhile, to the S person, they are not offended. What you said really was bad. But to a D person, they're like, but that's how it is. You know what I mean? So to a D person, they're just telling you how things are. But to an S person, it's like, no, but that was very disrespectful. So you see how conflict and how even between siblings, you see how conflict can come into play. And I'm going to tell you an interesting story. And so on a bad day, a C person, a D person will see a C person as annoying because the D person again is very task oriented and they want to get it done now. Meanwhile, the C person needs data. They need you to give them that data and that information. So on a bad day, a D person will be like, this is very annoying because the C person is asking, where's the information? Where's the data? And the D person is just annoyed. And look, we have to do this now. We have to. But the C person is saying, but you haven't given me the data. You haven't. And so the C person, the D person will find the C person very annoying. And I'll give you an example. So last year I went to my sister's, and because we lost my auntie. So my sister is a high D and also a high I person. And like I told you, I would say I'm a high S and I person, right? So, I told you, I people are their ideas, all over the place and everything. So I remember when we were there, so I asked her a question and she gave me the answer. Then a few days later, I asked her the same question again. She gave me the same answer. Then another few days later again, I asked her the same question and she gave me the same answer. And after a while, my darling high D sister, she's like, she had to confront me about it. She's like, you're not paying attention and I've given you this answer several times. And that's when it hit me that, oh my God, it's true. She had given me the answer so many times, but my high I person, the way I am, like I said, all over the place and everything. So I just kept asking her the same question. After a while, she couldn't take it anymore. And so she found it quite irritating and she had to, like in a typical D manner, she had to actually confront me about it. Excuse me. So I'm sorry, excuse me. So again, the good thing about it was that I was able to, when I realized what was happening, I now say, oh my God, and I explained to her, oh my God, I was actually very absent-minded when I was asking you all those questions. So even though I was asking you the questions, my mind actually wasn't even on what I was asking. I was just asking away. So when the answer came, I wasn't even paying attention. And so we were able to pretty much laugh about it because our personality just showed up in that scenario. But you see, can you see how that situation could have easily turned into conflict? I could easily have taken offense when she told me that, like, what? You're being disrespectful to me. Why would you say such a thing to me? You see that? Does everyone see that? How conflict can come into our relationships because of personality, not necessarily because of there's a problem, but just because of different personalities. You're just different. Can you guys see that? Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys see that? I don't mind going through it again and just explaining how differences in personalities can cause, if you don't handle it well. So that's the thing. If you don't handle it well, is the
Makes sense.
key. Okay, great. So
Makes
okay,
sense.
great. So okay, so let's go to a high I person on a good day. So that would be someone like me, right? They will see a D person as a good doer. Oh, this person is great because they get things done. Wonderful. They will see an S person as they have a sense of stability that the I person doesn't have. So they'll be like, oh yeah, this person knows, very calm, and that's what I need and everything. Then they'll see the C person. Oh, this person has very good information that is adding detail to that team. That's on a good day. That's how an I person will see these people or people like that. But on a bad day, let's say I got up on the wrong side of bed on that day, like I was giving to explain to my sister, they would see the D person as very domineering, and then they'll react accordingly, and the reaction won't be good. They'll be like, "Who are you to tell me this?" and blah 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 and blah, because they're just having a bad day. They'll see the S person as is taking too much energy from them, because they have to be very cautious of how they say things. They have to be very careful how they say things, because the S person will get offended. So to them, they might think, "Oh, this is just taking too much energy from me. I don't have that type of energy." Then they will see the C person as too critical of them, because the C person wants everything perfect, which is the opposite of the I person. The I person is not perfect in terms of the way they give information and they process information. So the C person will just be telling them, "Look, what you have given me is terrible." And the I person will think, "Oh, this person is just being critical of me." If you've heard that statement, if you've heard people saying, "You're just being too critical," that's how they'll see the C person. Meanwhile, the C person, and this is I had to learn this in a hard way. The C person is not necessarily trying to be critical, but that's just how they are. The C person, if something is not perfect, they feel that it's their responsibility to call it out to the rest of us. So they actually feel it's their response. They have to tell everybody, "This is not good. This is not good. This is not good." Literally, they have to point everything out that is not good to everybody. So you can imagine how that comes across to everybody. It's like, "You're just being too picky." You've heard that word, right? "You're being too picky. You're being too critical." No, it's not that they are being too picky. That's just how they are. They want everything perfect, and if it's not, they'll point it out to everybody. So it's just good to know that about them. For an S person, on a good day, they'll see the D person as a good leader, because remember, the S person tends to be very laid back. So when they see this D person doing all these things and saying all these things, this is a good person, good leader. Then they will see the I person as very inspiring, because remember, I people know how to talk very well. They know how to inspire people to get things done. And then they'll see the C person as very competent. This person knows how to do good things and get things done well and everything. That's how an S person will see it. But if the S person got up on the wrong side of bed or is just having a bad day, they will see the D person as too direct. They'll be like, "You're too direct. Why can't you say something, the same thing, but say it nicely? Must you say it like that?" That type of thing. Because again, the D person, they don't care. They'll just say it as a thing, and that's not a good thing per se. A D person, you have to learn when to say things, and you also have to learn how. It's not every time you say things you can say the same thing, but you have to think of other people. So that's how the S person would want the D person to say, "You know what, think about the impact of what you're saying." So they might see the D person as too direct. They might see the I person as too selfish, because I people tend to talk a lot about themselves. So they'll say, I think that, and they tend to interrupt people when they are talking to, because they get so excited. So they want to jump in there and say everything. So they might see the S person as too selfish, like, "Oh, this person, they're always talking about themselves. They're always interrupting." And of course, they'll see the C person as too critical, because S are very, again, sensitive, and they'll see the C person as very critical. So C people, same thing. On a good day, they will see the D person as very direct. To them, is a good thing, because remember, C's want information, and the D, they know how to give information, how very directly. They might see an I person as very inspiring, and then they might see an S person as very sweet, because again, S people are very quiet, calm. They tend to be very sweet. They like people. But on a bad day, if the C person got out on the wrong side of bed, they might see the D person as too pushy. Because remember, C people, they need time to process information, and the D person wants it done now. So imagine in a situation where you're with a parent, let's say you're in a parent reading, you're a C person, or with your siblings. Maybe your sibling is a D person and you're a C person. You need time to do something, but your sibling wants it now. Let's get it now. you find that person, it comes out as too pushy to you because you need time and they want to get it done now. But if you understand that it's just a difference, then you can say, okay, listen, I need more time, so that's how you can handle that. A C person will find an I person confusing a lot, because remember, the I person is full of ideas and they can go from A to I to B and back. But whereas so a C person who needs a lot of the information in a clear and concise way, it can come across as very confusing. So for example, if there is a C person here on this training, you'll be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised. They might find what I'm saying confusing, which is why I have the slides, so that way they can go through the slides at their own pace and follow along. The same thing, they might find an S person too sensitive because, again, although C's are very, not as active, or in terms of energy, they may not have as much as energy as I people, but C's, they are very critical. They, again, just because of their nature, they want everything perfect. So they feel it's their duty to call out everything about something that is imperfect. And when they are trying to call that thing out to them, or they are just telling you what's not good. But to an S person or to an I person, they are coming across as too critical, because like, you're criticizing everything I'm doing. Nothing is ever good enough for you. And so to a C person, they might find an S person too sensitive. Like, I didn't mean it like that now. Why are you taking offense? Have you heard that type of thing? Like, why are you taking offense now? I didn't mean it like that. No, you are being, they might find an S person too sensitive. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so before I continue, any questions? Let me ask this question. What are your own experiences that you all have, like, what are your thoughts and things like that?
I think that knowing what type of personality someone else has, you're able to approach them like a certain way, because you yourself have a personality and you want to approach them your default way, but that might make them uncomfortable. So like, you want to change your tone or way of communicating with them in order to get your point of way across without offending them in any way.
That's perfect. That's great, Michelle. Very good. Hasaini, David, any thoughts? David, I know you're having problems with your audio. I don't know. So you can put your own in the chat if you're still having problems with your own. Or I don't know, can you unmute yourself, David?
Indidi,
Hasaini.
for some reasons which I'll tell you after the meeting, I need to drop out if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. All right.
So David, you can put your own in the chat. If you're still there. Okay, so I don't think it's there. All right, but anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so what should you use this knowledge for is my second to the last slide. Say, know what motivates you and those around you. That's the key thing. Know what is motivating you. So know why you are the way you are, essentially. Know what it is that makes you do what you do. And it doesn't mean that when you're doing this you use it as an excuse to behave badly. No, but just make sure, just like exactly what you said, you can know how to communicate with people. But the key thing also, don't manipulate people. So don't try to manipulate people. Just understand them, who they are, and how to relate to them. Okay, now my last slide is this, because I wanted to give an easy way to remember these personalities. This is not a good or a bad thing, or there's no good or bad thing. I just wanted to give everyday things that we can see, that when you see it, you can say, oh, okay, this means this personality. So For example, D, diamonds, and diamonds are hard. So these people can come across as hard sometimes. So that's just why I just use the diamond for them. So just when you think D, just think diamond, hard. Then I, ideas. These are ideas people and they talk a lot. So that's why I use ideas for them. S, like I said, sugar. Sugar is what's sweet, right? So these are your sweet and your sensitive people. And C, I've used the icon of a cat because these people tend to be curious, very curious, because like I said, they need a lot of information and they tend to be very cautious and correct too. They want to always be correct. Okay. All right. And so that's all I have. So any questions so far? Are you serious? So that's interesting. So, but so hopefully, David, I hope you are able to get something. So, moving forward, how you can, talk to your brother moving forward and adjust and maybe even share the slides with him so he can see, and you guys can figure out how to, talk to one another, adjust. But so this is the end of my slides. I wanted to thank you guys for joining. And then I have just a few announcements. So this is our organization, and we're looking for people to help us join our team. So let me know if you're interested. And then the other thing is we have a training that is coming on May 1st. It's on finances. Is going to be a video. So it's going to be through Zoom. So I'll send out that information. So please invite your friends. This training is for young people. So please invite your friends. And imagine if everybody that you knew was on this call and how you can even help them in their own lives. It would be wonderful. And then our youth conference, we always have a yearly youth conference, is October 7th. So please save the date. Okay, so any question? And then please, lastly, help us like our social media handles and subscribe to them too. Okay, any questions? Yes, you're right. David, you are the same person that attended the last training, right? Good. Awesome. Thank you for joining. So last but not least, any other questions? If not, I think. All right. Well, then you all, thank you for joining. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.